step back in time to an era of rebellion, sacrifice, and the unbreakable will of a people yearning for freedom. The American Revolution, one of the most defining moments in history, was not just a war, it was the birth of a nation. Over 8 long years, 13 American colonies fought against the mighty British Empire, defying tyranny and forging a new identity. But how did it all begin? It all started with discontent. After the costly French and Indian War, Britain imposed a series of taxes on the American colonies to recover its financial losses. The Sugar Act of 1764, the Stamp Act of 1765, and the Townshend Acts of 1767 were met with fierce opposition. The famous cry of "no taxation without representation" echoed through the streets, as colonists protested their lack of voice in the British Parliament. Then came the Boston Tea Party in 1773, a bold act of defiance where American patriots, dressed as Mohawk Indians, dumped British tea into the Boston harbor. In response, the British tightened their grip with the Intolerable Acts, pushing the colonies further toward rebellion. Tensions rose, and war became inevitable. The revolution began at dawn on April 19, 1775. British troops marched to Lexington to seize colonial weapons, but they were met by a small band of Minutemen. A single shot rang out, the shot heard round the world, marking the beginning of the war. The British pushed forward to Concord but faced fierce resistance. By the end of the day, the Redcoats were retreating to Boston, facing relentless fire from local militias. The American Revolution had begun.
As battles raged, colonial leaders met in Philadelphia. On July 4, 1776, the Second Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence, penned primarily by Thomas Jefferson. This historic document boldly declared that all men are created equal and that the American colonies were free from British rule. It was a moment of courage, a declaration of defiance, and a promise of a new nation built on liberty. War was far from over. In June 1775, the Battle of Bunker Hill proved that the Americans could stand toe-to-toe with British forces. Though they ultimately lost the ground, the heavy British casualties signaled that the war would be long and brutal. In 1777, the tide turned at the Battle of Saratoga. American forces, led by General Horatio Gates and Benedict Arnold, secured a crucial victory, convincing France to join the war as an ally. With French ships, troops, and supplies, the American cause gained new strength. But victory did not come easily. At Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, George Washington's army faced a brutal winter. Cold, hunger, and disease ravaged the troops. Yet, through sheer determination and the training of Baron von Steuben, the American soldiers emerged stronger, ready to take on the British in full force. As the war dragged on, battles shifted to the south. The British captured key cities like Charleston and Savannah, but guerrilla warfare and relentless attacks from American forces wore them down. Then came the final blow, the Siege of Yorktown in 1781. With General Washington leading the charge and the French Navy blocking British escape routes, General Cornwallis found himself trapped. On October 19, 1781, he surrendered. The war was over, the Americans had won. Though fighting had ceased, it took 2 more years for Britain to formally recognize American independence. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed, officially ending the war and granting the United States its sovereignty. The 13 colonies were now states, bound together as a free and independent nation. The American Revolution was more than a war, it was a movement that reshaped the world. It inspired other nations to fight for their own independence and set the foundation for democracy. The ideals of freedom, self-governance, and human rights became the guiding principles of the United States, influencing generations to come. But the struggle did not end with independence. The newly formed nation had to build a government, create laws, and define what freedom truly meant. The Constitution and the Bill of Rights emerged, ensuring that the sacrifices of the Revolution would not be in vain. The American Revolution stands as a testament to the power of courage, unity, and an unwavering belief in freedom. From the battlefields of Lexington and Concord to the victory at Yorktown, from the pain of Valley Forge to the triumph of independence, the journey was long, but the dream of liberty endured. And so, a nation was born, forever shaped by the sacrifices of those who fought for a new world, where the people, not the king, would rule.